$9,000. Not for an engine overhaul, not for a transmission rebuild. For a sensor smaller than your wallet on a machine, this farmer had maintained himself his entire career. That bill landed on his desk in the middle of planting season. Corn losing moisture by the hour, window closing fast, and that single piece of paper rewired the way he looked at every green machine in his shed. This is FarmGear Pro. Today, we are walking through exactly how a $40 sensor becomes a $9,000 work order, and what American farmers are doing about it. Stay with me, because the middle of this story is where it gets serious. To understand why that number hits the way it does, you have to understand what a modern John Deere actually is in 2026. It is not a tractor in the way that word used to mean something mechanical, fixable, and yours. It is a computer with wheels, hundreds of sensors feeding data to a central system, dozens of control modules talking to each other under the hood. Modern John Deere, computer with wheels, hundreds of sensors, dozens of control modules. Running on top of all of it is a diagnostic platform called Service Advisor. That is the gatekeeper, the software that decides whether your repair gets finished in your own shop or whether you're sitting on hold with the dealer. Here is the part most farmers do not know until the bill arrives. The version of Service Advisor that John Deere sells to the farmer is not the same version the dealer has on his laptop. The dealer copy clears faults, reprograms modules, and authorizes repairs at a level the customer version simply cannot reach. Dealer version clears faults, authorizes repairs. Farmer version shows the problem, cannot solve it. The version bundled into the machine you already own and financed, that version shows you the problem. It does not let you solve it. That deliberately engineered gap is where $9,000 work orders come from. Walk through what that actually looks like in the field. Cab display throws a fault mid-planting. Wheel speed sensor on the rear axle reading out of spec. The farmer opens his customer copy of Service Advisor and reads the fault code clear as daylight. He knows the part. The sensor itself runs around $40 from the right supplier. $40 sensor. 30 years of experience. 15 minutes of labor. Should be done. He pulls the panel, swaps the sensor, clean work, and the tractor does not move. The system will not accept the new component without dealer authorization. A technician has to drive out and plug in the dealer copy of the software before the machine comes out of reduced power mode. The dealer is 58 miles away. Trip charge set by dealer policy guided by corporate. Diagnostic time billed at dealer rates. Reprogramming labor billed at dealer rates. The $40 sensor sold through the parts counter at full markup. 58 miles. Trip charge. Dealer rates. Full parts markup. One work order. By the time every line item landed, $9,000. The bulk of that number is the software gate. The locked door built into a machine he already paid for. A door that only opens when a company in Moline decides to open it, at a price that same company sets. He was not paying for a repair. He was paying for permission. And the cost of permission is set entirely by the party that controls the lock. He was not paying for a repair. He was paying for permission. His corn was losing moisture. The planting calendar does not negotiate. Weather does not file extensions. So he paid it, drove home and ran that number through his head every night for the next month. Now stack 2 or 3 of those events across one working season. A sensor fault here. A def system derate there. A region cycle that will not clear without a dealer visit. Stack those up, and operating expenses on a single tractor start looking like a second mortgage. Sensor fault. Def derate. Region cycle. Stack them. Second mortgage on one tractor. That is not maintenance. That is a revenue stream. And the farmer funds it year after year on iron he thought he owned outright. If FarmGear Pro is giving you the straight coverage you have been looking for, hit subscribe right now. We cover this every single week. Real equipment, real numbers, no brand sponsorship. Hit like and share this with the operator down the road who needs to hear it. Back to it. January 15th, 2025. The Federal Trade Commission filed suit against Deere and Company under Section 2 of the Sherman Act. An illegal repair monopoly. That is the exact language the federal government used. Minnesota and Illinois joined the complaint first. Michigan, Wisconsin, and Arizona followed. FTC, January 15th, 2025. Section 2, Sherman Act, Illegal Repair Monopoly. 5 states joined. The complaint named the service advisor dealer customer split as the engine of that monopoly. The United States government looked at what John Deere engineered into their diagnostic system and called it an illegal monopoly. Not aggressive business strategy, not a grey area. John Deere's motion to dismiss was denied by a federal judge in June 2025. April 2026, John Deere settled a related class action for $99 million and committed to a 10-year program providing repair tools and diagnostic access to farmers and independent shops. Motion to dismiss. Denied June 2025, $99 million settlement, April 2026. FTC case still active. The FTC antitrust case remains active as of May 2026. The settlement closed one legal track. Whether the underlying business model violates federal antitrust law is still being decided by a federal judge right now. Now, January 8, 2023, because this move stings in a completely different way. The American Farm Bureau Federation, the largest farm lobby in this country, signed a memorandum of understanding with John Deere in San Juan, Puerto Rico. January 8, 2023, American Farm Bureau, Memorandum of Understanding, John Deere, San Juan. On paper it looked like progress, better repair access, more diagnostic tools available to farmers. Buried in the same document, the Farm Bureau agreed to discourage state-level right-to-repair legislation. The largest agricultural lobbying organization in America traded the farmer's legal right to fix his own tractor for a corporate handshake and a press release. That is not a compromise. That is a referee switching sides while the game is still being played. The right-to-repair movement was gaining strength in state houses. Farmers were testifying, independent mechanics were getting louder, legislators were listening. Farm Bureau, discourage state, right-to-repair legislation. Same document, same handshake. The memorandum arrived at exactly the moment that pressure needed to be released, not answered. None of what happened is the local dealer's fault. Worth saying clearly. The service writer at your county dealership did not architect the software lockout. He follows a corporate playbook handed down from executive offices in Moline, Illinois. A local dealer, not the architect. Following a corporate playbook written in Moline, Illinois, John Deere. CEO John C. May received total compensation of $27.8 million in 2024, documented in the SEC proxy statement, publicly available to anyone. That number hits differently when a farmer is paying $9,000 on a $40 sensor repair. $27.8 million. CEO John C. May, 2024, SEC proxy statement, public record. Somewhere in those offices, a decision was made, year after year, to reclassify the repair bay as a profit center, to treat the farmer's need to keep his equipment running as a recurring revenue opportunity. Now, the class alternative, because Farm Gear Pro does not run one-sided stories. Claas is a family-owned German manufacturer headquartered in Harsewinkel, Westphalia, building harvest equipment since 1913. The company has stayed in one family's hands through 2 world wars, a global depression, and every agricultural cycle in between. Claas, family-owned, Harsewinkel, Westphalia, Germany, building harvest equipment since 1913. That ownership structure shows up in the product decisions, engineers making calls, not quarterly earnings reports driving every design choice. The Claas Axion is the company's row crop and mixed farm tractor line, built around a fundamentally different philosophy about the manufacturer-operator relationship. When a wheel speed sensor faults on a Claas Axion, the operator pulls the panel, replaces the part, and the system accepts the new component. No corporate authorization, no dealer trip, no software gate. Claas Axion, row crop tractor. Sensor fault. Operator fixes it, no dealer authorization required. The diagnostic system available to the Claas operator is genuinely closer to what the dealership uses, not a deliberately stripped consumer version designed to route every small repair through a billable service call. The big jobs still belong in the dealer's bay, major hydraulic work, complex electrical rebuilds. That is honest and reasonable. But the small jobs, the $40 sensor, the fault any competent operator could clear, those belong to the man who owns the iron. Big jobs, dealer bay, small jobs, farmer's shop, That is how it should work. The Axion runs a continuously variable transmission with a clean, accessible fault tree. Daily service points mounted where a wrench can actually reach without removing cab panels. The honest gap. Because this audience does not trust a story that only runs one direction. Claas does not have John Deere's dealer footprint in the United States. John Deere controls roughly 53% of the large tractor market. Most large operators sit within 30 minutes of a green dealer, parts show up fast, technicians are nearby. John Deere, 53% large tractor market. Most operators, 30 minutes from a dealer. In Claas, dealer is often a longer drive. For an operator running multiple units across a large territory, that distance matters during harvest. Parts logistics matter. Response time on a breakdown matters. That gap is real and worth naming plainly. It is also a gap closing steadily every year. Claas of America expanded its North American distribution out of Omaha, Nebraska. And in 2025, the 10,000th US-built Lexion Combine came off that Nebraska line. Claas of America, Omaha, Nebraska, 10,000th US-built Lexion, 2025, gap closing. Fendt has built parts and service through AGCO's existing American dealer base. Krone is expanding into American hay and forage through Memphis, Tennessee. The path away from John Deere dependency is not a lonely road anymore. The farmer ran his numbers the way farmers actually do, not off a brochure, not off a salesman's pitch. On a legal pad at the kitchen table after the family went to bed. Legal pad, kitchen table, after the family went to bed. That is how farm math gets done. He took the asset depreciation on the Claas Axion, ran projected maintenance against the John Deere costs he had actually experienced, factored in dealer trip charges he would no longer pay, and parts he could source from a catalogue instead of routing through a dealer counter at full markup. The math was not perfect. Farm math never is. But the math did not favor the green tractor, not when he ran it honest, not when he counted every dollar. The math did not favor green, not when you count every dollar. By the end of that season, the Claas Axion was working his ground. The green unit was on a lot in Iowa. What he bought was the right to fix his own equipment, paid for up front, earned back across the working life of the machine. Now here is where this story gets bigger than one farmer in one state. What happened in that Nebraska service bay is a pattern, one that has played out across American industry for the last 20 years. Nebraska Service Bay, not just a tractor story, a pattern, 20 years running. As Apple built its reputation on a personal computer you could open with a screwdriver. Today, storage is soldered to the logic board, and the only authorized repair path runs through Apple's certified network. Tesla restricts diagnostic ports and routes replacement parts through its own service network. Adobe moved an entire global publishing industry from outright ownership to monthly subscription overnight. John Deere is the agricultural chapter of the exact same book. The market has started voting, and the ballot is showing up at auction lots right now. Walk a serious farm auction in Iowa or Nebraska this season and count the late-model green machines on the trade row. 3 to 5-year-old 8R units sitting at Big Iron and Ritchie Brothers in volumes that simply did not exist a decade ago. 3 to 5-year-old 8R units, Big Iron, Ritchie Brothers, volumes that did not exist a decade ago. The resale floor on late-model John Deere is not what it was 5 years ago. Operators have run the same kitchen table math, and a meaningful number have decided the next machine is not green. None of this means John Deere is finished. Be clear about that. The company is large, profitable, and deeply entrenched. Brand recognition runs 3 generations deep in some farm families across this country. John Deere. Large, profitable, deeply entrenched. 3 generations of brand recognition. But the era of automatic green loyalty is over. The next generation of American operators is not inheriting the same dealer relationship their fathers had. They are inheriting the math their fathers ran at the kitchen table the night a $9,000 repair bill came home. They are going to look at the dealer-only diagnostic, look at the European alternative across the lot, and decide for themselves which company actually wants their long-term business. Not their subscription, their business. Dealer-only diagnostic. European alternative across the lot. Farmer decides for himself. The farmer who paid $9,000 on a $40 sensor made his decision. He runs class now. His neighbor switched to Fendt last spring. The pattern is real, and it is local. There is no anger left in this story at the end of it. The anger spent itself the morning that work order landed. What is left is acceptance. The kind you arrive at when the cost math finally agrees with the gut feeling you have been carrying for years. The anger is gone. What is left is acceptance. And a different tractor in the shed. He did not switch because the German tractor was better in every single category on a spec sheet. He switched because it was a machine he could work on with his own hands. One that treated him like the owner, not like a customer locked into a software subscription on equipment he had already paid for in full. For a farmer running on a calendar he does not control. Against weather he cannot argue with. That is not a small thing. That is everything. For a farmer. Calendar. He does not control. Weather he cannot argue with. Ownership is everything. Farm Gear Pro is going to keep tracking every court development, every auction result, and every equipment comparison that matters to the American farmer's bottom line. This is the conversation that should have been happening at every co-op meeting for the last 10 years. Thanks for watching Farm Gear Pro. If you found this breakdown valuable, share it with a fellow farmer and comment below your thoughts on this topic. See you in the next one.